everybody. Hey, it's Jack. What are we doing here? We're at Sinatra Park in Hoboken, New Jersey. What's today? Well, it's December 12th today when we're filming this. And why is that a special day in Hoboken? Well, because it's Frank Sinatra's birthday. And why is this December 12th even more special? Because a little bit later today, we came pretty early. I'm still a little sleepy, but they will be unveiling a statue, awesome looking statue of Frank Sinatra. Now you may be having a question, who's Frank Sinatra? Well, I'm gonna tell you. He was a really famous singer who was born right here in Hoboken on December 12th. Maybe if you visited the Hoboken Historical Museum, you've learned about Frank Sinatra. But for story time, we're going to read a book called Frankie Liked To Sing, about when he was a little kid growing up in Hoboken. It was written by John Seven, and Jana drew the pictures, and let's check it out. Frankie liked to sing. I like to sing also, but not really very well. Alright, it says Frankie didn't act like other kids. Here's the other kids, they're painting. Frankie was always singing. And Frankie didn't look like the other kids in Hoboken, New Jersey either. He was scrawny, like really skinny. And his mom liked to dress him up fancy. She wanted Frankie to stand out from the crowd. When he was a little kid, she took him to the department store to buy suits and collared shirts and ties. Look at that. You ever dress up fancy like that? Now, other kids would call him names and pick fights with him because of his fancy clothes. Well, if it isn't Slacksy. Hey, Slacksy, what are you, wearing a fancy hat and a tie? That's what it was like in Hoboken back then. Now, the thing Frankie liked to do most of all was sing loudly, alone in his room. Every day after school, he listened to his hero, Bing Crosby. That's a funny name, right? Who would be singing on the radio. The radio was Frankie's best friend. They spent a lot of time together. It's kind of fun to listen to music in your room, right? And Frankie liked to sing for other people too. Sometimes Frankie sang at his dad's saloon. He would take a break from his homework and climb on top of the piano. What? And sing for the fellows there. When Frankie sang, all the arguments stopped. The men clapped and cheered. Hooray, hooray! Some even cried, oh, it's beautiful music. They tossed nickels at Frankie as a way of saying thank you. Frankie began to wonder if there were other people he could sing to. Well, who else can he sing to? Oh, Frankie liked to sing at his mom's parties. When Frankie sang, the old ladies put their hands on their cheeks and dreamed they were young again. When Frankie sang, the old men pushed back their hats just a little and grinned. But he wanted to sing for even more people than could fit in his house. Where's he gonna find more people? Oh, Frankie liked to sing at school. When Frankie sang, the other kids wouldn't worry about their times tables or the spelling tests. The teachers would stop Frankie from singing in class, but they could not stop the music in his head. Sometimes the songs burst out of him anyhow. Frankie left school as fast as he could. He was much better at singing than he was at studying. If the teacher's like, "I don't like this. Get back to work, you kids." Frankie liked to sing while he worked in Hoboken. When Frankie sang, the job went faster. Oh, la 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 la, night and day. Frankie liked to sing on his front stoop, strum a ukulele, and pretend to perform for the neighborhood. Frankie wanted singing to be his job. How could he get people to pay attention? How could he get them to hear his voice? We still have those stoops in Hoboken, maybe in front of your building, right? Frankie's mom knew everybody in Hoboken. She was like the Bob Foster of the era. She got Frankie jobs singing at parties, dances, events all over town. Frankie sang into a big megaphone. You see here, that's called a megaphone. It makes your voice louder so the crowd could hear him. But sometimes boys made a game out of tossing pennies into the megaphone. That's mean. He decided to buy a microphone like the one Bing Crosby, his hero, had. That was a singer's instrument. Look, they're all dancing, having a great time. Hey, let's throw some pennies in old Slaxy's megaphone. That'll be funny. Maybe he'll swallow a penny. Now, one night, he got to see Bing Crosby perform on a stage. Everyone was looking at Bing the way that Frankie wanted to be looked at. There was a special connection between Bing and the audience. How did he do that? Frankie thought he could fill a bigger theater than Bing did if he worked hard enough. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Frankie worked so hard at singing that soon there was no one in Hoboken who hadn't heard his voice. Look, the Elks Club is still there. Union Club, Hoboken Sicilian Cultural League. Now Frankie dreamed of something bigger. New York City was just across the river. There it is, the big city. He knew he had to go there. I'm making a brand new start of it. New York, New York. In New York City, Frankie took voice lessons and got new ideas by working with other musicians. He became an even better singer. Soon, he got to sing on the radio, just like Bing Crosby. The sound of his voice made everyone listening believe that Frankie understood how they were feeling. Frankie's voice was like a pat on the back. Look at that. Now, thanks to the radio, Frankie's voice reached the ears of band leaders. They asked him to come sing with them. Soon, Frankie was filling, look at this, large theaters, just like Bing Crosby did. When Frankie sang, the girls screamed with excitement, "Oh, Frankie, Frankie!" They cried, they trembled, they waved their handkerchiefs at him because his singing made them just burst with happiness. When Frankie sang, everyone in the room felt like they knew him. And he knew them. We love Frankie in concert tonight. The Voice. She fainted. Uh-oh. Oh, she'll be okay. She'll be okay. She was just excited. Frankie made records of his singing so people could take his voice home with them. Now they could listen to Frankie anytime they wanted to. Frankie's voice made people like they could get through the hard days and then have fun on better days. Here he is singing in a studio. Recording sounds great. Makes me feel like I'm a young fella. His voice could make a big tough guy cry and could make a little guy feel big enough to ask a girl to dance. Look at all these great records. Do you have a record player at home? Frankie was soon singing in movies. He sang in one to convince kids to be nice to each other. That was important to Frankie. Hey, cool it, Charlie. Everybody wants to come see the Frank statue, but
he's early.
He's early. He's early. Now Frankie, he danced in movies too. He even sang and danced on screen with Bing Crosby. Could you imagine getting to hang out with your hero? Wow. They had a wonderful time. Such an elegant, swelligant party it is. Frankie sang all around the world. Although people couldn't always understand his words, his voice really made him sound like an old friend. No one felt alone when Frankie sang. Frankie got all sorts of awards. Some were for acting, many were for singing. And he also received awards for being a good guy. That's the best award of all, right? Here he is in Paris, England, Egypt, Las Vegas. Now, if you go to Hoboken today, there are pictures of Frankie hanging all over town. His name pops up everywhere you look. All of Hoboken is proud of the skinny kid who loved to sing and never stopped. Frankie's still singing. Can you hear him? Strangers in the night, exchanging glances. And that's the end. That was a beautiful book, a beautiful story. And it shows, like, if you have a dream, you work hard at it, you might not become as famous as Frank Sinatra, but you might do great things. So that's pretty cool. We thank you for watching the story time. Come by Sinatra Park later. You don't have to be today. Come later in the week if you want to. Take a look at the statue. I think you'll really enjoy it. All right. Take care, everybody.